Good morning and welcome to Friday's Join the Dots. Now, we've got some interesting things today. First of all, I'm going to thank all those who've sent some money to us via Stripe or the super like, because we've been able to buy some more software, or Craig has. I don't understand this stuff. And anyway, we're working on that now, so we may be able to do a slightly longer show today, not deliberately, but just because this is an important show. What we have to do is remember the core principles of Join the Dots. Find the truth. Doesn't matter what it's like, doesn't matter whether you like the truth or not, we find the truth. Because only with the truth can you actually use it to make rational decisions. And I'm going to bring you today the best and most successful metal investor, Rick Rule. And here he is at the Deutsche, let's have a look, what's it called? The Deutsche Goldmesse. And he's talking to junior miners and investors in junior miners mostly, because the big companies didn't attend. Why? They don't need to. They have no need to seek investors at this stage. It's a bull market, and it's a secular bull market, which means it has an awful long way to go. Now remember, what I want to do is help you by giving you the information, help you build generational wealth. But to do that, you have to invest time, effort, and you have to make your decisions. I'm not advising, I'm just providing information to allow you to have more information to make a better decision. And that is critical. And it's said, Rick says it time after time after time after time when you listen to this presentation. I think it's about 30 minutes. It's a superb presentation. Okay, you're not going to get anything better. You can look at 100 YouTubes. You're not going to get anything better than this for explaining where we are and what you should be doing. All right. One of the most important things. Well, let's start with some numbers. Okay, so since we started this service, which was beginning of July, gold is up 27%. My way of investing in the gold market, which you will hear from Rick Rule quite substantially, is through a miner, gold miners. And my choice with my research, my knowledge, is Agnico Eagle Mines. And they have produced 39%, so 1.5 times what the gold price has done. In silver, now obviously silver in the last 2 weeks has been spectacular. And we got that right, didn't we? I timed it. I gave you a week of silver presentations last week, and since then it's moved from 50 up to 62 this morning. In fact, 62.02 as I sit here. All right, so that's a huge move. It's 25% in 2 weeks. Do you understand how big that is? But also, it's vulnerable. And Rick says this time and time and time again. If you don't go in for the journey, although he doesn't use that word, but if you don't go in for the journey, if you don't go in with a 5-year time frame, you're going to lose money, because you're going to be scared out by the falls, which come quite regularly. And he sees those falls, 25 declines, you may see 3 or 4 in the journey. And if you're shaken out, you miss the rest of the journey. Appreciate from the very beginning, this is a secular bull market. It's not just 2 years, it's not 1 year, it's possibly 5 years. And that's the journey we're on. Okay, and honestly, if you don't understand that, you're going to waste the biggest bull market you're going to see in your life. And he uses that word a lot, waste. You will waste it if you don't do the proper research, and understand what you're trying to do. That's the point, understanding what you're doing. Okay, so silver, so far, since we started this service, only 6 months ago, in July, 5 months ago, silver's up 71.5%. Pan American Silver, my favourite silver miner, second largest silver producer in the world, is up 69%. Now there's something really interesting there, and it's showing in the last few days. And I know it's only a few days to judge it upon, but it's showing that Pan American is catching up with the silver price, and it will go past it, because the miner will always make more than the metal. Rick says he has a general rule, it's about 2 times. In other words, the miner will increase twice the metal increase, because of the corporate leverage, which I've explained. You've got a fixed cost base, and the marginal profit of every dollar that it goes up is a dollar bottom line. So it increases your earnings and your margins, and then it makes you more attractive, and then more people buy you. So it increases your price earnings multiple as more people see it's worth it. And the silver under the ground, it's more valuable, and you're going to pull that out next year and the year after and the year after that. Fabulous journey. Okay, so let's go back to Rick's piece. So he said, first thing he says is, did gold decline by 6% in the last 3 months? Or has it increased 100% in the last year? Both are true. Both are true. Okay. We shall see regular 25% declines in the metal price. Regular. And that could be 40 to 50% decline in the junior miners. Okay, but we're not going to talk about the junior miners today because I'm not really in that market. But I will link Rick Rule talking at the Deutsche Goldmesse, okay, and he talks about the juniors, so you can learn a lot more on how to do those. And in fact, he offers his service. You can send a portfolio that you want him to look at. You send it to ruleinvestmentmedia.com. He reviews it and he tells you, he rates the companies 1 to 10. You can use it. Right, he's a good guy, Rick Rule. So, okay. So, equity prices are multiples of the metals. I've explained that. And in 1980, when they had that bull run then from 70 to 80, the miners, the good miners, generally increased at twice the metal price, which is what I just mentioned. Okay. But you have to prepare for more than a few 25% declines on the journey. Okay, we've seen that in Agnico Eagle now. We've seen it hit 185, it's now 164. Okay, that's quite a fall. That's over 10-12%. Value is incredible. Value is incredible in my eyes, in my research, my information. I think the value is incredible. I think the value is even better in Pan American Silver because it's only increased 69% while silver's increased 71%. So on Rick Rule's rule of thumb, it's got another 60-odd% to go. Okay, so prepare for the declines. In 1970, gold rose from 35 to 850. Now I know that half of that was inflation to about 450. Okay, and the other half was in the last 4 months as Russia, or Soviet Union as it was then, invaded Afghanistan and caused global political chaos and World War III fears, and then gold doubled. Now you could see in this world at the moment how many wars are there and how many potential wars are there. Even Cambodia and Thailand now. Okay, they're at it. So how many wars are there? So how many chances are there that gold's going to have a real spike up on a geopolitical situation? Taiwan, China, Japan, Gaza, Ukraine. It's not good. Not good. Okay. So most people, he said in 1975, the gold price had risen to 200, but it fell to 100 in the next 9 months. And almost anyone amateur, anyone not serious, anyone not understanding the journey, anyone not thinking about it would have been shaken out because the price fell from 200 to 100. But it ended up at 850 4 years later. That's why you take the journey. Okay. We're in a secular bull market and we're on the journey. Self-honesty is very important. Be honest with yourself, what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to do, what you're really doing. Be honest. And this is about everything in life nowadays. We have to be honest. Okay? As I said, the big boys aren't at this conference. Franklin-Nevada, Agnico, they're not there. They don't need to be. Because most of these conferences are about hooking new investors. So, today's juniors, this is an interesting thing. I will just mention the juniors for a bit. Rick says there are 3,000 juniors, 3,000 listed juniors on the planet, and they collectively lose $2 billion each year. So how do you pick the good ones? How do you pick them? You do a lot of research. You go and meet them at these conferences. You talk to them. Whether you believe them or not, that's another thing. But you look at their experience. You look at the management. Management is the key, isn't it? Okay? You have to look at the management. Because those are the people who are going to turn your money into something bigger or more. And if you don't believe in the management, you shouldn't go near the company. You really shouldn't. Now, I've seen a couple of times USGO has been promoted both on Redacted and on Manico 64, and the share price just really hasn't done much at all. I've seen it bump twice. Pump and dump, I'm afraid. So again, you have to do a lot of work. You have to dig into the information, dig into the management's proven experience. So if you've got a CEO who's talking about this project, how many projects has he run? How many have been successful? How many have failed? Ask the hard questions, okay? So going through 5 things that he sees here, he says, focus on the people, the experience, okay, the experience. And the serially successful management. Well, that's obvious, isn't it? If someone's been serially successful, then the chances are they're going to be successful again. All right? Otherwise, they wouldn't have moved on into this position they're in now. Second one, value. Rational positivity. Have a rational positive view, not an irrational one. Okay? And also make sure the company's management have got rational positivity, not just hot air. Scale. What is the actual scale of the project? All right. And the most important unanswered question. What is the most important unanswered question that they haven't answered? Dig down. Force it out of them. What is their most important unanswered question? Okay, so that you can test what they're testing themselves with. Time. How long do you have to own the stock? Yes. Okay, so these are all 31 minutes into this presentation. He says, you have to have a plan. Beautiful. I love this man. Because everything he says is just so logical. And that's why he's so damn successful. Okay? He's so damn successful. Because he's logical. He's not irrational. He's not emotional. He doesn't believe everything he's told. All right? He does the research. What else have we got here? You can, he says, to sum it up, he says, you can be a contrarian or a victim. Okay? And that's talking about when you come into the market, whether you're buying it because the price has gone up. He said, if you went into a shop and you were buying a leather jacket, and this week it's $100, and next week it's $200, do you buy it because it's $200 next week? No, you don't. You say, hold on, you're gouging me. That was $100 last week. Same with stocks. Is there a good reason why it's now $200? Or is it just $200 on hot air? Okay. So to sum it up, he says, we have been given a fantastic bull market. Now I'm hoping, beyond hope, that you realise after 5 months of this service now, and all the truth that I dig out, whether it's convenient for you, whether you don't like the truth, and there are a lot of people who didn't like the truth from yesterday's show, that doesn't worry me, because they can't argue with facts. They just make personal attacks. Rhymes, doesn't it? That's what happens. In this world today, if someone can't debate with you, they just attack you personally, because they can't debate, because they've got no facts. They've just got an irrational thought, and they can't, there's no logic. And that's the same with investing. It has to be rational. It mustn't be illogical. I've looked at the price of uranium just out of interest, because I had one client who was looking at uranium when we started this service. And I said to him, well, look, you've got a bird in the hand here. You've got gold and silver. They're going to go exponential. They're going to rise. It's a secular bull run. There are hundreds of reasons, not only geopolitics, but actual industrial use, etc., etc. And I just looked today. Uranium is down 1% in those 5 months. Silver's up 71%. You've got a bird in the hand. You've got 2 birds in your hand. You've got silver, gold. Okay? Why do you need to forage in the bushes for something that someone else tells you is more sexy? And you look at the figures and you say, well, yeah, uranium. Yeah, it's really sexy, but hold on, we're down 1% in the last 5 months. Again, please, use the logic you've got. You've got a brilliant brain in there. Use it. Find the facts. Do the research. Listen to people like Rick Rule. This is a fantastic interview. It's the only link I'm giving you today. It's the only thing I'm talking about today, because it's the most important lesson that you will have about this, what Rick calls, we have been given a fantastic bull market. Don't waste it. Thank you very much.